What's up, y'all? Alvin here, and in this video I'm going to show you my 5 favorite subsurface flies for catching bass.
I tell the good jokes.
All right, let's get into it. And make sure you stay to the end because I'm going to tell you which one of these flies is probably my top catching bass fly of all times. All right, first up is a leech. So this is pretty much your typical, leech pattern, bunny leech, and there's nothing really special about it. It comes in a bunch of different colors and a bunch of different sizes. But typically you think of a leech, you think of a black leech, but there's a lot of other variations that would kind of fall under that same designation, like this guy, so I'm going to say leech or worm, so this is a big kind of bassy looking bug. Or also this is one we use a lot on the Colorado River during the winter, and it's Helgramite, but it kind of falls in that leech category. So that's just a group of flies that you should definitely have for fishing for bass subsurface, a leech. Next up is going to be a classic, and that is the Game Changer. So one of the things I like about the Game Changer, obviously, is just its crazy action. It's basically like a swim bait for your fly rod, and it comes in all different sizes and colors and patterns. And one of the things I like about it, especially this time of year during the winter, and we fish a lot with subsurface flies during the winter, mostly subsurface flies during the winter. And the nice thing about the Game Changer is it's got a lot of action, so you don't have to move the fly really quickly to get action out of it. So it wiggles, it darts, it dives. It does really well on a slow retrieve. So that is one of the reasons why it is a favorite for subsurface fishing, especially during the cooler months when you need to really kind of urge those fish to bite the fly. All right, so number 3, and this is kind of a toss-up. This is on some days the number 1, but some type of crawfish pattern. So this has been one that I've had really good success with over the years. This is the gully craw. It is a pattern that Orvis sells. It's one of the few that I consistently have to buy because it is a little bit tough to tie. Now, another crawfish pattern I really like is this Pat Cohen's Jiggy Craw. I mean, this thing is just insane. It's got so much action going on. And there's another one that I don't tie. Crawfish patterns can be sort of complicated, and unfortunately you're fishing them a lot on the bottom, and so they can be something that you're going to lose a lot because you're dragging it on the bottom. But the patterns can be so effective, especially once again during the colder months when the fish may not be as aggressive, that I think it's worth losing a couple of flies now and then because of the number of fish that you catch with these flies. All right, so before we go any further, I want to ask you to do me a huge favor. If you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you really want to make me really happy, subscribe to my email list. I got a lot of stuff coming up here in the near future, and it's the best way to make sure you don't miss anything. And I don't own these platforms, so tomorrow YouTube could shut down and I wouldn't have any way to get in touch with you. But if I have your email list, I can get in touch with you from here until people stop doing email. I have people that are on my email list that have been on there for close to 2 decades. So if you want to have a long-term relationship with me, the best way to do that is to sign up for my email list. All that stuff is in the description. All right, let's get back to the video. We got 2 more flies. All right, so this next one is sort of a new entry. We've been using it for a few years now, but it has really kind of like jumped to the forefront of subsurface flies for me and a lot of the other folks here in Central Texas. both on the rivers and on the lakes. And I actually have done a video on how to tie this fly. I'll link that right up there. But it is the Crelex. So super flashy, and it's got a lot of action. And this one is also kind of a go-to, especially during the winter when the fish are not super aggressive. For whatever reason, I don't know if it's the action or if it's just the color, the flash, but there's something about the Crelex that really gets the fish excited, and I just can't imagine myself going out bass fishing without a Crelex nowadays. And it's another one that comes in a bunch of different colors, sizes, you know, light, dark. They're all super flashy, and typically they're all sort of weighted, so they'll get down deep really quickly. All right, so what's the number one? And like I said earlier, this number one fly is also probably the number one catching bass fly of all times for me personally and a lot of other people I know. And it is or drum roll, whatever, the clouser. So the lowly clouser minnow, and you know, it's a super simple pattern, been around forever, can be tied in lots of different colors, different sizes, heavily weighted, lightly weighted. The eyes are part of the pattern, so you know, haven't seen any unweighted clousers, although I have seen some clousers tied with plastic eyes. So yeah, the clouser, really, if I could only have one fly to catch bass with, I would probably have to go with the clouser. Now, my personal favorite is the chartreuse and white, but I know lots of people who catch them on gray and white. That is a really great shad imitation. Pink and white, believe it or not, red and white is kind of a classic. So yeah, the clouser is definitely one that I don't ever leave home without some clouser minnows in my box. If I'm going bass fishing, also for redfish and stripers, a lot of other fish, but definitely number one subsurface bass fly is going to be the clouser minnow. All right, thanks for watching the video. If you want to know my top 5 bass flies of all times, you should watch that video right there. Thanks again for being here. And as always, good luck on the water.